I was told a story of some of the history of this temple. 3 different Mughal kings invaded Rangakshetra on 3 occasions, utterly plundered this place. On one invasion, the king, Ulu Khan, came with his very powerful general and his armies. They murdered 12,000 Sri Vaishnavas here. Murdered 12,000 devotees. And plundered everything of any value. Before they came, the devotees built a big wall in front of Ranganath and Lakshmi so that they would not know the deities are here. But the king stole the Utsav Murti of Ranganath and brought him to his palace in Delhi. And the Utsav Murti of Lakshmi was buried under the sand very quickly, so they could not find. So after the king murdered 12,000 devotees and just terrorized this entire place under the command of his general, the king went on to conquer another place, but left his chief general here. And he was going on killing and persecuting and torturing, and he was looking for the deity. He was determined to find the deity. So there was one lady, a devotee lady. She was remarkably beautiful. And somehow it is man's nature to put faith in the opposite sex when they are beautiful, especially demoniac people. That is how Krishna tricked all the demons in the form of Mohini Murti. Just by her feminine beauty, they put total faith in her. So this cruel, murderous general of the Mughal army became very much attracted to one beautiful devotee lady. And he asked her, "Where is the deity of Vishnu? Show me where that deity is." She said, "You follow me, I will show you." He was very happy to follow her. He probably would have followed her anywhere. You know this big, tall, white Gopuram that's behind us? You have all seen, close to where we took prasad? She went to the top of that Gopuram. And the general of the king followed behind her. And on the top of the Gopuram, she pointed to the dome. On the dome, there is a carving of Lord Vishnu, whose name is Vasudeva. And she said, "There is the deity. There is my Lord. There is the Lord of my life. If you want to see him, look." And he was looking for a deity. She said, "Don't, look at the dome over there." He said, "That carving?" She said, "Yes, that is the Lord of my life." And as he was looking at the form of Lord Vasudeva, she pushed him off the Gopuram, and he fell all the way down, crashed his head, and died. But then she was thinking that I have just killed someone in Lord Vishnu's temple. So I have committed a great sin. How can I live? So she jumped off the top of the dome from the exact same place where she pushed the general, who just cracked his head and died instantly. She jumped down and fell to the ground. But because Lord Ranganath was pleased with her, she was not even scratched. She didn't even sprain a toe or a finger, because Ranganath was pleased with her. And she came before the deity, and the deity offered her any benediction. Because by killing that general, she saved the lives of thousands of people, because he would have kept plundering, torturing, and killing. In fact, after the general was killed, the army left. So Ranganath, he offered her any benediction she wanted. All she wanted was his eternal loving service. But she said, when that day does come that I die, please let the flame from the fire of your kitchen that cooks your bhoga, let that fire burn my body and all of my descendants. So for many, many generations after that, every one of her descendants was burned by the flames from the kitchen wood of Ranganath's fire. Meanwhile, they took the Utsav Murti, which also came out of the ocean of milk along with the large deity, and the king took it to Delhi. So one other lady, devotee lady, she put on the dress of a Muslim and went along with the king's army back to Delhi, just so she would know where that deity was. And no one detected her. She was behaving just like a perfect Muslim. And she went into the court, and she was also very beautiful, so she was given good access in the court. And she understood exactly where the deity went. It went to the king's palace. Then she came back to Rangakshetra and told the pujaris that this is where Ranganath is. So the pujaris went all the way, they walked all the way to Delhi, and they were singing beautiful songs in a mood of service to the king. And he was so pleased with them, he said, I want to give you something. What would you like? He said, give us that deity. So he gave the deity. And they were on their way back to Rangakshetra to bring the deity back. But the king's daughter fell in love with the deity. She told her father, I want that deity back. So he sent his armies to follow, to come to Rangakshetra to get that deity back. So they brought the deity to many places, hiding. For 75 years they were hiding that deity. For some time they hid him in Tirupati and other various places. And ultimately, as I said, 75 years later, Rangakshetra became a relatively safe place for the deity to return. So they brought the deity back. But there was a problem. Would you like to hear? There's always problems. long before that, long before that, they brought another Utsav Murti that looked just like this one, because they considered this one was gone. Yes? So they installed, and all the pujaris were worshipping that Utsav Murti, and they considered that that was the original one. And then these priests, somehow or other, the next generation brought the deity back. And there was a debate, which of the deities was really the original deity? The pujaris were saying the ones we're worshipping, this is the original deity, and the others are saying, no, the one we're bringing back is the original deity. But nobody knew. From the time the deity was stolen, there were only 2 people in all of Rangakshetra that were still alive 75 years later. One was a dhobi, a washerman. And by this time, he was so old that he became blind. He could not see. But he was the only one who could witness. They asked him, "Can you tell us which deity?" He said, "I'm just a Shudra. I'm very low. And I can't see. But many years ago, when I was young, I used to wash the clothes of that deity. Before the Mughals invaded, my service was washing the clothes of the deity. And in love and devotion, I would always wring out the water and then smell it and drink it. So I know the smell of the body of the Lord." So take both of the deities that you have. I can't see them, but let me wash both of their clothes, and I'll tell you which one is the original deity. So the deity that was being worshipped on the altar, they gave the clothes to him, and he washed it, and he wrung it out, and he drank it, and he smelled the water. He said, "This is not the deity that I used to do seva for." And then the deity that was just hidden for 75 years in various places was brought before him. The clothes, he washed them, he smelled the water, he drank the water and tasted it, and in ecstasy he began to cry. He said, "This is Ranganath." And just when they installed Ranganath on his altar again, after so long, there was a rainstorm on the same day. And the rain was part of a great miracle. Because after 75 years, the rain washed away the sand, and Lakshmi Devi appeared from under the ground. Nobody knew where she was. Pujari just secretly buried her and didn't tell anyone. So Lakshmi and Ranganayaki and Ranganath both appeared once again in Srirangam on the same very day. So in these stories, we very much honor these 2 beautiful ladies who gave their lives for the service of the deities and the devotees. We were speaking about Ramanujacharya. He had a disciple of the name Andrapurna. Annapurna was his personal servant. In fact, on behalf of all the other Vaishnavas, he was doing the service for the personal needs of Sripad Ramanujacharya. And one of his very important services was to boil milk for his guru every day. There are wonderful stories about the nature of his devotion. One time he was boiling milk for Ramanujacharya, and one of the greatest festivals of the year was taking place. Today, Murli Bhatta Prabhu said that in the Ranganath temple, every year they have 322 festivals. Now this was a main festival. And Ranganath was on the Utsav Murti was on palanquin, and Brahmins were chanting, and it was a darshan only once a year that anyone gets this darshan. And the palanquin was just coming by the ashram of Ramanujacharya. And Ramanujacharya said to Annapurna, he said, come and see the darshan of the Lord. Come and see the darshan of the Lord. And Annapurna said to Ramanujacharya, he said, this is my darshan of the Lord, boiling his milk. This is the darshan that I'm having with my Lord by boiling his milk. Boiling the milk for Ramanujacharya. Another time the two of them came right before Ranganath in the temple. Ramanujacharya, with ecstatic tears in his eyes, was looking at the deities. And Annapurna was just staring at the feet of Ramanujacharya. Ramanujacharya said, Annapurna, look at the deity. Have darshan of the deity. Have the darshan of the Lord. Annapurna said to him, you are having darshan of your Lord, and I am having darshan of my Lord. This was the extreme nature of his being servant of the servant of a servant. Another time, Annapurna washed the feet of Ramanujacharya after he came from walking outside. And after taking that water, he drank the water and sprinkled the water on his head, and Ramanujacharya he just touched the water that washed my feet. He said to Annapurna, he said, you just touched the water that washed my feet. He said, go wash your hands. So Annapurna immediately went obediently and washed his hands. Later that day, he went with Ramanujacharya into the temple of Ranganath, and they gave Charanamrit, and he took the Charanamrit and immediately ran and washed his hands. And Ramanujacharya said, what are you washing your hands for? You're supposed to put the Charanamrit on your head after you take it. He said, no, you ordered me that after I take Charanamrit, I must wash my hands. Because I do not see a difference between the water that washes your feet and the water that washes the Lord's feet. This was the simple nature of his love for Ramanujacharya. Servant of the servant of the servant. And because of these simple incidences, he is honored, glorified, and remembered by the Sri Vaishnavas even over 800 years later. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his servant, also had that completely selfless attitude. One time Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri, he was dancing and dancing and dancing in ecstasy with his devotees for practically the entire day. They went early in the morning, and he was doing Nam Sankirtan till the afternoon. Hour after hour after hour. Finally, Lord Nityananda Prabhu had to somehow or other stop the kirtan because all the devotees were utterly exhausted, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was still dancing as all the Vaishnavas loudly chanted the holy name. So Lord Chaitanya went back to Gambhira to take his prasad. Govinda, his servant, served him the prasad, Jagannath's prasad. And then Lord Chaitanya laid down. But he laid down right across the doorway, going into his quarters. Now it was the service of Govinda to massage Lord Chaitanya's feet after he took prasad as the Lord was resting every afternoon. But on this day, the Lord's feet were inside the doorway and he was blocking the doorway. So Govinda said to the Lord, if you can please move slightly so that I can go inside to massage your feet, my Lord. And Lord Chaitanya said, I am too tired. I cannot move. And he just laid. And Govinda said, my Lord, please, if you could just move slightly so I could go in to do my seva of massaging your lotus feet. Lord Chaitanya just, He said, do whatever your mind tells you to do. So Govinda took a piece of cloth, the Lord's cloth, and put it over the Lord's legs. And then he stepped over the Lord's body to get into the room. Now this is a great offense. To step over the body of a devotee is considered a great offense. It is very disrespectful. What to speak of stepping over the Supreme Personality of Godhead? But Govinda stepped over him and went into the room and massaged his feet. Lord Chaitanya slept for a long time. And finally, when he came to his external consciousness, he saw Govinda sitting there. And he said, Govinda, have you taken your prasad yet? Govinda said, no. Said, you were supposed to have taken prasad right after massaging my feet. You have been here for so long, hours. Why haven't you taken your prasad? Why are you still here? Govinda said, but my Lord, in order for me to take prasad, to get out of the room, I would have had to step over your body. Lord Chaitanya said, Govinda, to get in the room you stepped over my body, so to get out of the room you could step over my body. Govinda remained silent, but in his heart he was thinking, my Lord, to render service to you, I am willing to endure committing countless offenses. To render service to you, I am willing to go to hell for eternity. But for my own sense gratification, for my own purposes, I greatly fear committing even a speck of a trace of any offense to anyone. And it is explained that Lord Chaitanya purposely slept in that way and wouldn't move because he wanted the whole world to understand the selfless service of Govinda. Na danamna janamna sundarim kavitam vajagadisha kamaye mama janamani janmanishviri bhavatad bhaktirohaita kitva. I do not want wealth or the beauty of the opposite sex, nor do I want fame, prestige, or even liberation from suffering. I only want to be your unconditional servant, my Lord, birth after birth after birth. These stories exemplify this principle. Govinda was willing to go to hell and even endure the reactions of terrible offenses if that was what was required to serve the Lord. But for his own purposes, his heart was reeking with fear of committing even the slightest fragrance of an offense. Another servant of Lord Chaitanya was Balabhadra Bhattacharya. When Lord Chaitanya was going to Vrindavan, they were traveling through forests together. Dangerous lions and tigers and snakes and elephants. And Balabhadra was how to protect my Lord. He was just a simple little Bengali brahmachari. But he personally witnessed Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu putting his feet right in the face of tigers and telling them to chant Hare Krishna and watching the tigers dance in ecstasy with tears of love flowing from their eyes as they chanted the holy name. Yes, for Balabhadra Bhattacharya, his life, his soul, his everything was in his service. And one day Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, from his heart of heart, he was appreciating Balabhadra Bhattacharya. He said, we have come so long, thousands of miles, and we're traveling through dark forests where there's no human beings, wild animals, sleeping in the forest, eating in the forest. But because of your attentive, devotional service to me, I have not experienced even the slightest inconvenience all of these days. You're making nice beds for me out of straw, and you're collecting roots and herbs, and you're gathering wood and making fires to keep me warm. And you're preparing such nice prasad out of nothing. He said, you are sacrificing so much, just to make me happy. I have no way to repay you. Due to your love, even in this jungle, there has not even been a moment of inconvenience for me. Lord Chaitanya was praising him. And Balabhadra Bhattacharya, he said, no, my Lord, I am insignificant. It is all by your mercy. He said, by your kindness, you have given me the service of Garuda, although I'm just a wretched, insignificant, useless crow. So Rangakshetra is a place that is especially personifying this spirit of selfless service. Bhakti Vinod Thakur explains Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took two very essential principles from each of the four Vaishnava Sampradayas. And what did he take from the life and teachings of Ramanujacharya and his followers? One, unalloyed devotional service, without any mixture of jnana or karma. No desire for personal sense gratification, no desire for mystical yogic powers, and no desire for liberation or mukti. Only the desire to give satisfaction to the Lord by our love. That is pure bhakti. And the second principle was the greatness of service to the devotees. Servant of the servant. And we have heard many stories, and we have witnessed today in these three wonderful souls. In fact, this morning, Murli Bhatt, such a nice service attitude he has. He looked at me. We were just in front of Lakshmi Devi's temple. And he said, over the last 2 days, I feel that my family has grown by 2,000 people. He said, I really, deeply in my heart feel that you are that you are my family, and I am your family. And he said, I don't know what I will do when you leave. And he started weeping. He started crying from his heart. So today I want to thank all of you for having such a wonderful, wonderful impression, for making such a wonderful impression on these devotees. It is Prabhupada's kindness upon us that he's giving us this chance. So tomorrow, early morning, we will be leaving Rangakshetra for Rameshwaram. And it is my very great hope that everyone really carries this spirit. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's spirit, which was so much personified here at Rangakshetra by Ramanujacharya and his followers. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took that spirit of selfless, unalloyed devotion as the servant of the servant of the servant and developed it to its highest extent in the gopis of Vrindavan. When Krishna had headache, gopis were willing to go to hell for all eternity. If that would help Krishna to be relieved of his headache for even one moment. And the spirit of Vrindavan is that nobody except Srimati Radharani approaches Krishna directly. Everyone is the servant of the servant of the servant. In that spirit, let us chant the holy name.
sure you're all very eager for prasadam, which is one third of the process. Chanting the holy names of the Lord, dancing and taking Krishna prasadam. But because I was very sweetly ordered, I have to fulfill my service. Today is, I guess we could say, a very historical time in Lord Chaitanya's desire to spread Krishna consciousness. As we've seen, the two very prominent sampradayas, the Brahma Gaudiya Madhva Sampradaya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the Sri Sampradaya Ramanujacharya, uniting together in one under the banner of glorifying the Lord by chanting the holy names of the Lord. And I was just thinking how happy and how pleased how Srila Prabhupada is by this wonderful occasion of all the devotees coming here to Srirangam Kshetra, taking darshan of the deities and reawakening Lord Chaitanya's mood here in Srirangam Kshetra. So much so that reawakening actually inspired very leading personalities in the Sri Sampradaya to actually come and give their blessings, give their heartfelt appreciation, and very much say that Lord Ranganath is pleased. Lord Ranganath is actually pleased by the devotees. And of course, His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, who is exemplary in his devotional qualities. There are many great devotees, and there are many categories of great devotees. But in my, experiences, associations, and realizations in the association of Radhanath Maharaj, I have never seen him deviate at all once from the principle of service to the Vaishnavas, exemplary devotional qualities, and selfless service. And there are many devotees who can, as Maharaj was giving another example, how devotees can be very exemplary when things are going good. But when things are difficult, or when there is reverses, or when there is what we say pressures coming externally and also difficulties from the physical body, how other devotees may find a decrease in their enthusiasm. But Maharaj is always increasing no matter what the situation is. And that's rare. That is very rare to see that. And especially in Kali Yuga. Especially in Kali Yuga, where there are so many difficulties. So we have, as Maharaj was saying, in general, to appreciate devotees, but I think our deep, heartfelt appreciation is from Maharaj, because what he is doing and how he is spreading Krishna consciousness and pleasing Srila Prabhupada is really, really exemplary. Really, really exemplary. And we're all benefited by his pure devotion and his selfless service and his unalloyed to surrender to the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I was just thinking what to speak on, and I don't really nothing really, sometimes you're sitting there and you're trying to think, okay, I'm going to speak, but nothing really came. And I was thinking, maybe Krishna doesn't want me to speak. But then again, I was thinking that so much a part of this program is the Harinam Sankirtana movement, and how precious this is. How precious this is. Sometimes, many times, people in general don't appreciate the simple process of chanting and dancing. Sometimes devotees don't really understand how powerful and how important and how, what we say, spiritually potent this process is. As His Holiness the Acharya of the Sri Sampradaya was saying, that in this age, karma, gyan, and so many vratas, and so many austerities, and so many pujas, and so many things have all been dispensed with. Because in this age, these are not the process, and no one can actually perform these processes properly. But in this age, Lord Chaitanya has made it so easy. Just chant the holy names of the Lord. Purify your life. When Lord Chaitanya was in Jagannath Puri, after some time Lord Nityananda joined him in Jagannath Puri. And Lord Nityananda so much wanted to be with Lord Chaitanya. Their love for each other was practically impossible to describe. How much they loved each other so deeply. And Lord Nityananda wanted to be so much with Lord Chaitanya. But Lord Chaitanya called him aside one day and he said, you know, I am here in Jagannath Puri, but there's nobody spreading the Harinam Sankirtan movement in Navadvip. So please take your devotees and go to Sri Navadvip and begin the Harinam Sankirtan program and preach the glories of Sanatana Dharma. So, of course, with great emotion, anticipating the separation of Lord Chaitanya, but still because of devotion and dedication to Lord Chaitanya's instructions, Lord Nityananda took his devotees. We're all cowherd boys. Lord Nityananda is Sri Balaram. He's Balaram who has come again. Actually, there's no difference between Balaram and Lord Nityananda. It's explained that anyone who makes a distinction between these two personalities is called an atheist, a prashandi, one who actually has no faith. Can you imagine? We see two different forms, but actually they're the same person. Balaram has manifested himself in a most merciful form as Sri Nityananda. And what is Balaram? He's a cowherd boy in Vrindavan. The eternalist, he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead who associates with Lord Sri Krishna in Vrindavan Dham with all his cowherd friends. So Lord Chaitanya told Lord Nityananda, please go and spread the Sankirtan movement in Navadvip. So he took all his cowherd boys, friends, who were, again, appeared in the form of his associates in Lord Chaitanya's Leela. And they left. And they began the Harinam Sankirtan movement. And they were chanting and dancing on their way to Navadvip. And they got so absorbed in the Harinam Sankirtan that they forgot where they were going. They didn't forget where they were going, they forgot the direction they were supposed to go in. And after some time they looked around and they were lost. They realized we don't know which way it is to Navadvip. So they asked someone, and they said, oh, you have to go 6 miles in the other direction to get to the trail, to go to Navadvip. So they turned around, went 6 miles. Finally, they were in the right direction again. They were going and they were chanting and dancing. They got so absorbed in chanting the holy names of the Lord. And again, they forgot which way we're supposed to go. And so they asked again, and someone said, the Ganges is 20 miles that way. You have to follow the route to the Ganges. That will lead you to Navadvip. So again, they reversed directions, began the Harinam Sankirtan, and headed to Navadvip. And they were chanting and dancing. They became so absorbed. And some of the associates of Lord Nityananda were Abhiram Gopal, Abhiram Thakur. Abhiram Thakur, what a personality he had. He had a whip. It's called Jai Mangala. And anybody he hit with that whip would get pure love of God. But there was another side. He didn't like anything pretentious. So sometimes Pandits or Brahmins, they would worship shalagram. But some of these stones that they were worshipping were not actually shalagrams. So he would pay his obeisances to these shalagrams, and if they weren't actually genuine shalagram shilas, they would crack, break. That was his power. And if he decided to pay obeisances to anyone, and if that person was not a pure devotee, they would die. You have to be careful when you were around Abhiram Thakur. If he thought you were a pure devotee. So this was the quality of Abhiram Thakur. Who was he? He was Sridham. Sridham, come again. One of the most prominent of all cowherd boys of Vrindavan Dham. And he was there along with Nityananda. Finally, after some time of chanting and dancing, they arrived at the house of Raghava Pandit. And Raghava Pandit came out to greet them. And Lord Nityananda said to Raghava Pandit, make me a garland of Kadamba flowers. And Raghava Pandit said, well, my dear Lord, this is not the season for Kadamba flowers. I have a tree in the backyard, but there's no Kadamba flowers at this time. He said, go back there and check. Just see. So he went back, and on the lemon tree there were Kadamba flowers. So he picked the Kadamba flowers, made a garland from Kadamba flowers from the lemon tree, and he gave it to Lord Nityananda. And Lord Nityananda was very pleased. And then all of a sudden, everyone started to smell the scent of Damanaka flowers. Now, Damanaka flowers was one of Lord Chaitanya's favorite flower. And they usually grow in the area of Puri, not in the area of Navadvip. So everyone was smelling these Damanaka flowers. But Lord Chaitanya wasn't there. Everybody was smelling. Lord Nityananda knew that Lord Chaitanya had secretly, without anyone being able to see, except Lord Nityananda and very, very intimate devotees, that Lord Chaitanya had actually joined the Sankirtan party. It says that Lord Chaitanya would be in 4 places. You could always find him in 4 places. One, wherever Lord Nityananda danced, wherever Sachimata cooked, wherever, who else? What was the other 2? At the house of Srivas Thakur for Sankirtan. And what was the last one? The house of Raghava Pandit. Yeah. 2 reasons to be there. So again, Lord Nityananda began his Sankirtan, and he was chanting and dancing and chanting, and the kirtan just kept going and going and going and going, and all the devotees were becoming mad, just chanting and dancing the holy names of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Binna Tvam, Nami Nami No. The name of the Lord and the Lord himself are non-different. And when there's pure chanting of the Lord's name, the Lord actually appears in the kirtan. Of course, Lord Nityananda was already there. And the kirtan was going on and on and on, and the devotees were becoming completely mad. So much so that in their madness, they started to climb trees. And they were climbing out the trees, and they were going onto the branches and dancing. We're waiting for this to happen in Radha Gopinath's Yatra. I'm sure it'll happen sooner or later. Because I've never seen such kirtans anywhere, except in Radha Gopinath. Enthusiasm. So the devotees, they kept dancing, and they were going out to the very end of the branches, right, with a very thin, very small twigs, and they were dancing on the end of the twigs, and the branches weren't even breaking. And one devotee, he just became so mad. He just dived off the tree and said, "I am Angada!" And just dived down. Angada was a monkey soldier in one of Ram's armies. Just became mad. people were revealing other things during that kirtan. And then the kirtan just kept going on and on and on. And then there were some other trees, smaller trees, and devotees were grabbing the trees and dancing with the trees and uprooting the trees. And this kirtan just kept going and going and going, and finally the villagers, they were starting to see something wonderful has happened, so they started to come. And the little children from the village, they joined the kirtan, and they started to dance, and they were dancing, and they were picking up trees too. Everyone had become so empowered that even these little kids were picking up trees and dancing with them. Can you imagine the power of Krishna's holy name? How it can invest within the heart and minds of the dancer and chanter? Nothing can stop this movement. The holy name is all powerful. Sometimes we think, the world is so polluted, it's so demoniac, it's so overrun with demoniac kings and rulers and armies and bombs, but the holy name can wipe all that away. It's just with Lord Chaitanya's mercy and the pure chanting of the devotees of the Lord can push back the tide of Kali Yuga. This is the astra in this age, to purify the world, to purify the hearts of the living entities. And this kirtan went on for 3 months. Nobody ate. I know you're all hungry. Nobody slept. And it's explained, nobody even was thirsty. They just forgot everything. They forgot their bodies. They forgot their minds. They forgot everything. They got so absorbed in chanting in the holy names of the Lord. That's all there was. It was like Vaikuntha. The spiritual world had manifested. Lord Nityananda had brought the whole spiritual world simply by his presence and enthusiastic chanting of the holy names of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ke Jai. I think after the end of 3 months they took prasad. So I'm not going to delay my lecture too long, because I know you're all hungry, and also there's a wonderful program coming up after today's prasadam. So thank you very much. Continue to remain enthusiastic. Give your mercy to the residents of this area. I'm sure they're all amazed to have you here. Be kind, be humble, be courteous, be friendly, and most of all, be Krishna conscious. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki, His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj ki.
in this place for 60 years. And Sripad Ramanujacharya came from Kanchipuram to Srirangam. Ranganath personally came here in the DD form and told Sripad Ramanujacharya to stay here. And also Ranganath gave the name to Ramanujacharya as Vibhuti Dvaya Nayaka, which means that Lord told Ramanuja that I have given to you the both material world and the spiritual world, and from here we can extend whoever you want to the spiritual world. And Ranganath kept Sripad Ramanujacharya in this place, and this is his residence for 60 years. Vedavyasa Bhatta, Srila Prabhupada says in CC as Sri Rama Pillai, who is brother of Parashara Bhatta and son of Koresh. So his house and this also, and this house also, their descendant house.
Now, Vedavyasa Lakshmi Bhatta Swamiji is with us. He is the descendant of the Vedavyasa Bhatta Parampara, and he is worshipping his Kuladharadhanadana Lakshmi Narasimha Swami. This is the Lakshmi Narasimha Swami temple that we are Vedavyasa Bhatta is worshipping. எல்லாரும் இருக்க சொல்லுங்க. Dear devotees, this is the house which is called Yerichur Rangadama Nilayam. Here, that is Parasara Bhatta disciples from Andhra Pradesh. They are conducting Kadyaradhana, that means feeding all the devotees, Vaishnava devotees, visiting for Vaikuntha Ekadasi festival for 20 days from tomorrow. So this is the house where they are giving offering, they are giving food, shelter to those people, but this received from Andhra Pradesh. This is the in charge of this Bhagavani Purnachandra Garu. This is Arayat Tirumalige. That is house of Araya. Arayat Tirumalige means who is chanting Nalayat Divya Prabandham, who got the hereditary rights of chanting Nalayat Divya Prabandham in front of Lord Ranganatha. This is called Arayat Tirumalige, which is called, that is the descendants of Nadamani Vamsatta, Nadamani family. So Arayat Tirumalige is very famous here. They are doing that chanting of Nalayat Divya Prabandham in front of Lord Ranganatha. The festival starts from today. From this day, 22 days festival is this is called Tirunadandandam. Starts from Tirunadandandam, Arayat family. This is house of Arayats. But it's called Tirumalige. Sampradayam is Tirumalige. Bhavan. It's called Bhavan. Arayat Bhavan.
Everybody can easily see the white Gopinath. Today, Maharaj explained the story of the devotee pushed the king from the town. He was disturbing the devotee. So there is a place on the top we can see the golden tomb of Ranganath. From there, she pushed the general from the top. In front of us, standing another descendants of Tiruvaranga, Nathamuni, they are also Arayas. Arayar means one who can sing and dance in front of the Lord. They have a special prestigious power that they can chant and dance in front of the Lord by singing Divya Prabandhams.
My name is Srinivasa Suprabhada Gurti. Here they are offering in this Mandiram, Vyasaraya Mandiram. Every year they are offering prasadam and shelter to those people, devotees visiting for this 22 days festival here. This is Srinivasa Suprabhada Gurti Bhavan.
This is a Bhavan of Koil Kandadayannan. He is one of the main disciples of the later Acharyas, a disciple of Varavara Muni, whose Mata will be reaching very soon. So this is a very holy place. It's one of the main disciples later propagated Srila Ramanujacharya's philosophy. Hare Krishna. Devotee called Varavara Muni, or in Tamil Manavala Mamuni, or Yatintra Pravana, and he is considered to be the second incarnation of Srila Ramanujacharya, and also his disciples are 8 main disciples, and he is sitting in the his deity is there on the top. He is considered to be the incarnation of Srila Ramanujacharya again.
नीचे वरावणी रंगनाथ स्वामी का गुरु जी है इन वेद प्रारंभम हरि ओम इन द्राविड वेद प्रारंभम श्रीशैलेश दयापात्रम दीभक्त्यादि गुणानम यतीन्द्र प्रणम मंदिर मजामात्रम स्वामी वरावणी स्वामी रामानुज स्वामी का आशेष सुबह मेलकोटे तिरुनाम तोंडलूर with arguments with the Jainis and Ramanujas. Srirangam में वरावणी स्वामी का आशेष सुबह one lady and one gentleman.
The deities.
Original Padga. This Padga put on the Gulu Vikindam, Atma definitely go to Prabhupada Vaishnava Sampradaya. One year Galinge, Manavala Mamuni.
Varavaramuni temple, Manavala Mamuni temple. He is the Acharya of Lord Ranganatha. He is the Guru of Lord Ranganatha, Manavala Mamuni. On completion of his studies with Manavala Mamuni, Lord Ranganatha has written a beautiful sloka by name Srisela Dayapatram. It will be chanted, their descendant Ramanujacharya.
Shimale Namaja Madra Munindraya Mahatmane Srirangavasi Bhuyat Nityastir Nityamangalam.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Actually, when Ramanujacharya established deity worship here, he established 20 groups of servants in the temple of Ranganath. 10 are Brahman groups who are serving the Lord, and 10 are non-Brahman groups who are serving the Lord in various ways. Thus, he didn't discriminate Brahmins and non-Brahmins. So, amongst the 10 non-Brahman groups who does various services, some make the seal for the Lord, some bring milk for the Lord by rowing in the boat across Kaveri, and this is a particular group called Dasanambi. When Lord comes in procession, they bear torch for the Lord.
And they will put garland.
And also they make garland for the Lord. In fact, the crown which was offered on the inaugural day,
Knowingly and unknowingly, this Dasanambi had helped our Maharaj also by making the crown and the flower shawl during the opening day.
so this is the family who made the crown, and they traditionally does this for the Lord and all the sannyasis here.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Also, descendants of Parashara Bhattas, their Parashara Bhatta had many sons and the relatives started expanding. So this is one of the house belongs to Parashara Bhatta's descendants. Hari Bol.
Now we are in the important place where a beautiful discourse performed by. This is the palace of Parashara Bhatta. I would like to introduce his grandson. Here, please come. He is our hero.
Hare Krishna. He has just exaggerated me. Actually, I am nothing here. I am just one among you. And just I am here to do Kaingaryam to Lord Ranganatha. Just actually, you are doing this. You are just spreading the name of Lord Ranganatha, even Krishna, all over the world. That's a great job. But we are here. We are just doing the same job, but we are doing it to Lord Ranganatha. That's Hare Krishna.
And also, today, Ramanuja failed. Signature of Ramanuja. Yes, what is that?
Handwriting.
Handwriting, Ramanuja Dasan.
என்ன எழுதியிருக்காங்க
but presently not available.
His son, Radhanatha better. I think in every year he is arranged to produce so many scholars in Srirangam. Now he has got disciples of 115 numbers for chanting Vedam, Prabandham, etc., etc., etc. And he is also now attending an Upanyasam, Tiruppavi Kalakshepam at Oriyur Kamalavali Natya Sandhi. That is who is Radhanatha better is in that photo. Center Radhanatha better. His father Parasar Alagi Singha better is one of Parasar Bhattar's family. Of main Gopuram, that is Dakshina Non-Bhagan Gopuram. This is Non-Bhagan Voyal, it's the main entrance to the temple, and the street it is called Trivikraman Vidhi as well as Uttara Vidhi, Uttara street. This is called Uttara Vidhi. We are in Dakshina Uttara Vidhi, that is South Uttara street. This is the main entrance to the temple. Now we are in front of main temple. This main temple, this is the main entrance towards south side. We are entering the temple from this side only. God is coming out for procession only from this side only. That is Non-Bhagan Goparavasa.
This is the street where all the geniuses are here. Thank you.
Sundar Bhattar, he is the Ataya Pujari of Lord Ranganatha, always with smiling face, always with encouraging devotees, always encouraging all the good works done in Srirangam. He is, as he rightly said, he is the what he called glamour figure.
Today morning he helped us a lot for your Maharaj darshan. He asked Maharaj to stand there till he satisfied. We should all therefore to him. Let us say one more Haribol for him.
So this is very good opportunity to me. So Ranganatha is very good devotee, not only devotee, he is a respected to devotion. So Srirangam is today from yesterday 100% more purified. All of our visit. My sincere prayers to all of our devotees, again and again coming Srirangam and generating from here to other places. So this is my vision. So Swamiji is very important person here. So Ranganatha is already, Radhanath Swami also is very devotionally he coming with other pandits. So this is already Ranganatha decided. So I am very happy. So my prayers and of other, not only from today, every day we are praying to Lord Ranganatha, the good devotion, the devotees. So again.
Now Nanda Bhatta is coming. He is my elder brother.
Indeed, Srirangam itself has become Krishna movement here. But a small request for the Krishna devotees, not only this year, every year you should come here and chant Krishna and be happy in your life, enjoying the divine supreme grace of Lord Ranganatha, Goddess Ranganayaki, and all other Alvars and Acharyas. Thank you very much.
All of you would have worshipped Lord Ranganatha. More than 1,500 persons have come and congregated at this sacred place. I wish Ranganatha gives you all these blessings for your
Ribo!
Actually, Ramanujacharya put Parashara Bhatta under the shelter of Emperor Govinda. The story you can remember that Parashara Bhatta and Vedavasa Bhatta, two children were born. Govinda went inside the house and brought the two children and chanted the names of Lord Narayan in the ears of the children. And as soon as the children was brought by Govinda to hand over to Ramanujacharya, Ramanujacharya saw the children and asked Govinda that I can smell the fragrance of holy name from the children's body. What did you do, Govinda? So as soon as Ramanujacharya asked this question, Govinda became very shy and told, I just chanted the names of the Lord just to give protection to the children. So Ramanujacharya looking told Govinda that you have done the job of us. So Govinda, so you should be their spiritual master and you take care of them. And then Ramanujacharya named Parashara Bhatta and Vedavasa Bhatta to the children. This is also good.
And here is Kamba Ramayana Mandapam. Kambar has written Ramayana and inauguration. And in front of that, this is Mate Nigidi singer. Mate singer is Richard Slavin. Richard Slavin has accepted this Ramayana so that he is in that Mate. It's called Mate Adagi singer. That is Mate means in upper. He is appeared in that Gopuram. What we saw in the Gopuram, he has appeared in that Gopuram itself. Now we are in front of the Kartari Mandapam. Morning, and there are so many lectures here. Now it looks very deserted. Not deserted because our memories are there. That's all. Our memories are there. So each and every pillar will tell the memories of today's events, yesterday's events, and all the days or Swamiji's events. Every day when we are coming around the temple, these pillars will tell.
It is unforgettable.
Unforgettable.
Whenever we round the temple, whenever we come across this side, we will remember all of you, and especially your Swamiji. We never forget till our lifetime.
Radhanath Maharaj ki! In this mandapam itself, Murali Bhatta has promised you to join this Hare Krishna movement. Now, in the evening itself, he has joined. Not only joined, he dragged me also. In Uttarvidi, I have never seen Murali Bhatta chanting namas in Uttari streets. But all the Uttaratis, seeing the enthusiasm, he himself became the Rama Krishna, and he himself Hare Rama Hare Krishna chanting all the names. When Archakas of Sri Ranganatha will never chant another God's name, only Ranganatha, Ranganatha, Ranganatha. But he chanted Rama, 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 Krishna, Krishna, Krishna.
Today, we have drowned in the affection and kindness of Parasara Lakshmi Narasimha and Murali Bhatta. Let us offer our deep gratitude to them by loudly chanting. Company today, I am also about to join the Hare Krishna movement.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Lord Chaitanya spent 24 years of his earthly Leela in Sri Vrindavan Dham. He spent 18 consecutive years in Jagannath Puri. For 6 years, he was traveling, sometimes in Puri and sometimes other places. He spent 2 months in Vrindavan. What this means is, after Sri Navadvip Dham and Jagannath Puri Dham, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spent more time in Rangakshetra than any other place in the entire planet Earth. It's third place, only after Jagannath Puri and Navadvip, as far as Mahaprabhu, Lord Chaitanya, spending so much time. Twice as much time he spent here than even in Vrindavan. So truly, for the followers of Lord Chaitanya, it is a very holy and sacred place. That means Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after Navadvip and Puri, he performed more Sankirtan in Rangakshetra than anywhere else on earth. And where did he perform that Sankirtan? Right in the Ranganath temple, all day, every day, where we have been chanting today. The same stones, I believe. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki. So let us very humbly and gratefully bow our heads to this holy place that gives truth and substance to the mercy of the Lord. Is he transformed Vaikuntha into Goloka Vrindavan?
Jai Sri Radhe.
Thank you very much.
All your humble prayers to this poor man Murali. I need two things from you. First of all, I want your frequent visit here. I want to see every day some ISKCON people near to me now. These two things can be achieved if you pray for one thing. I will speak to you now frankly. The Gopal Bhatt birthplace is now, we are 4 brothers and 3 sisters. But this is the right time for you to pray that the Gopal Bhatt birthplace should not be participated, and it should become a dham for all of you to visit. Please pray. Prayer can achieve anything, and the mass prayer will achieve everything. Good prayer, good. I want that place to be maintained, that place to be a sacred place, and it should be a temple for all ISKCON devotees, for all Caitanya devotees to come freely and have darshan there, chanting there, like that for the past 3 days, which I experienced in our home. Please pray that it should be yours, not ours. You please pray so that my ambitions will be fulfilled. Kindly pray for me. I need all your prayers. Ananta Kodi Vaishnava Vrinda ki.
Respected Swamiji, dear devotees, really we experienced a very fine chanting of, dancing of Rama and Krishna in front of Vaikuntha gate. Actually, the gate is supposed to be opened only on Vaikuntha Ekadasi of 10th of January. On hearing our chant, on hearing in namas, definitely Ranga will open the doors today itself. Today itself, Manasika opening. So that, or as Murali Bhatta rightly said, your prayer will make us more energetic. When we are dancing with you, chanting with you, Murali Bhatta told me that we need not go to doctor hereafter. We'll be so slim only by dancing and chanting Ramanujacharya. Like our Swamiji. Really fantastic experience we are having for all these 3 days. It is supposed to be, not supposed to be, it is a Buloka Vaikuntha Srirangam. In Vaikuntha there are Nityasuris. In Srirangam there are Chaitanya Sishyas. So that you are all bringing us the memories of Vaikuntha Paramapada in front of Paramapada gate. I request on behalf of Srirangam people, on behalf of temple authorities, on behalf of ourselves, please visit often and make us recharge. So that on charging, our battery will always work with you. These batteries will always work with you, so that I bestow my humble pranams to our Swamiji to having such a pleasant, wonderful, beautiful, fantastic experience we had with you, and I request you to come often, and I pray Lord Ranganatha to have his blessings on you, on us, on everybody. Sarve jana sukhino bhavantu. So that his blessings always with you, and we pray Lord Ranganatha for the well wishes of all devotees assembled here and chanting Rama Krishna. Hope you will all, we can't forget these sweet memories. We can't forget. As Murali Bhatta rightly said in the morning, 2000 up to 2010, these memories will be there. These memories will be there. So that on the 2010, remembering the 500th year of Caitanya Prabhu's visit to Srirangam, not 2000 devotees, as right the morning said, not 2000, you make it 20,000 or you make it 2 lakhs. So, I pray Lord Ranganatha to have his blessings on your whole and your family and your children and on us also. Your prayer will energize, will give energy. Your prayer is, your chanting now today is boost of our energy. Thank you.
श्री राधे बहुत नंद के लाला की, रंगनाथ जी की, रंगनाथ जी की, रंगनाथ जी की, रंगनाथ जी के धाम में विराज रहे हैं। आ जाओ विष्णु। He is speaking of Raja Bhasha. Raja Bhasha is a secluded Bhasha which will be spoken in Vrindavan only. पूज्यपाद राधानाथ स्वामी जी और मंदिर प्रांगण के उपस्थित श्रद्धेय मुरलीधर जी और मैं नाम नहीं जानता स्वामी जी का, पराशर भट्ट जी, सबके लिए नमन करते हुए हम अपनी बात शुरू कर रहे हैं।
His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, from Pujya Parashar Bhattaji and Murli Bhattaji and all the honorable guests here, I will begin my speech.
स्पीच तो भाई हमको सिर्फ जाने ना है, अपनी बात रख रहे हैं।
I don't know how to make speech, but I will just open my heart to all of you.
4 मिले 64 खिले, मिले 20 कर जोर, हर जन से हर जन मिले तो बेहसे 60 करोड़। अनुवाद है इसका, जब 2 डिवोटी मिलते हैं, 4 मिले, 2 नेत्र और 2 नेत्र दूसरे डिवोटी के।
When 2 devotees meet, they have 2 eyes each. So when they become together, they become 4 eyes.
64 खिले, वो हंसते हैं।
Then when they smile, each have 32 teeth. So they become 64 teeth. They start listening to everybody.
4 मिले 64 खिले, मिले 20, 10 फिंगर एक की और 10 फिंगर एक की, दोनों हाथ मिल गए, कर माने हाथ, जोड़ माने जोड़ करके मिले तो एक के 20 हुए और दूसरे के भी एक के 10 हुए, दूसरे के 10 हुए।
So when they come together, they fold their hands. So 10 fingers
of both hands and 10 fingers, so they become 20 fingers.
मिले 20 कर जोड़, हरिजन से हरिजन मिले, एक भक्त से जब दूसरे भक्त मिलते हैं तो बेसे 60 करोड़। एक के शरीर में रोमांच होता है तो 30 करोड़ रोए होते हैं, और दूसरे के शरीर में 30 करोड़ रोए होते हैं तो कितने मिले? 7 करोड़ जो है रोमांचित हो जाते हैं।
So when 20 fingers meet together, then they become ecstatic and the hairs stand on end. Each person has on his body 30 crores of hair follicles which stand on end. So when they come together, they become 60 crores of hairs standing on end when they meet together.
यहाँ जो है 60 करोड़ की सीमा नहीं है, यहाँ तो 2000 बम्बई वासी हैं और रंगनाथ के वासियों की पता नहीं कितनी संख्या है, वो सब आनंद समर में लहरा रहे हैं।
And this calculation of 60 crores don't work here because there are 2000 devotees and he doesn't know how many Srirangam devotees are present over here, so the calculation is unlimited.
आनंद की सीमा तो अपार होती है, जैसे यहाँ दिखाई दे रही है। यहाँ जो उपस्थित समुदाय है, जिस तरह से हिलोरें उठ रही थी, ऐसा लगता था जैसे नंद भवन में एक बार महाराज जी ने कीर्तन कराया था, जय कन्हैया लाल की, जय कन्हैया लाल की।
So the way 2000 devotees are coming together here and expressing their joy and happiness in the name of Krishna, I am remembering one kirtan which Radhanath Maharaj ji performed at Nandagaon when Yatra was there, and also 2000 devotees were there, and all were dancing in ecstasy, creating the waves of joy and happiness.
जब नंदलाल और बलराम कृष्ण दोनों मथुरा के नगर भ्रमण करने के लिए गए तो वहां की सभी नगर वासियां उनको जिस तरह से देख रही थी, उल्लास उमड़ रहा था, वैसा ही आज नगर भ्रमण में दिखाई दिया।
When Krishna and Balram visited Mathura and they were walking on the streets of Mathura, the way the Mathura-vasi ladies greeted him and the way they enjoyed their darshan through their eyes, similar experience today I felt when I saw the local devotees watching these 2000 devotees performing kirtan.
चैतन्य महाप्रभु जी ने प्रयाग में पदार्पण किया। 3 नदियां थी, गंगा, जमुना और सरस्वती, तीनों की त्रिवेणी थी, लेकिन वो त्रिवेणी कभी इलाहाबाद वासियों को नहीं डुबो सकी। लेकिन जब चैतन्य महाप्रभु जी का कीर्तन हुआ तो उस आनंद कीर्तन में सभी नगरवासी डूब गए।
When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arrived in Prayag, where there is confluence of 3 rivers, Ganga, Jamuna and Saraswati, even these 3 rivers joining together could not drown the residents of Allahabad, Prayag. But when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and performed his Sankirtan, it drowned all the Allahabad Vasis, the residents of Allahabad.
ऐसा ही दृश्य आज है। यहाँ भी 3 जगह के निवासी हैं, गौर संप्रदाय के राधानाथ जी के सब सेवक और रंगनाथ स्वामी जी के सभी भक्तगण और ब्रजगेरी भक्तगण, ये सभी तीनों का ये त्रिवेणी ऐसी मिल रही है, ये आनंद जो अगुणित है, इसको मैं वर्णन नहीं कर सकता।
Here also there are 3 different rivers of devotees. One section of devotees under the guidance of Radhanath Maharaj from Gaudiya Sampradaya, another set of devotees who are devotees of Sri Ranganath Swami, and also devotees from Braj. So when these 3 devotees have, different devotees have come together and they are experiencing the joy, I cannot express the joy and bliss which I am experiencing by the confluence of these 3 sectors of devotees.
ये आनंद ऐसा ही लहराता रहे और रघुनाथ जी की जो दृष्टि है, जो दक्षिण में हो रही है, वो सर्वत्र हो जाए। जय कन्हैया लाल की, जय कन्हैया लाल की।
May this joy remain forever and create waves of bliss in everybody's heart. And I pray that Lord Ranganath also glances over not only in south but also all over the world and drown everybody in ecstasy. Jai Kanhaiya Lal ki.
Jai Kanhaiya Lal ki. Srila Prabhupada ki. last and least I'm speaking. I can only somehow or other just try to catch the drops of the devotion that is being circulated amongst all the wonderful devotees here, and somehow try to take those drops on my head and try to understand a little bit deeper what it means to become a devotee. And after experiencing the beauty of Sri Rangakshetra, the Sri Vaishnavas, the wonderful temple, the atmosphere, and the mood of Harinam Sankirtan, I can say that I actually got a little taste of what it means to be in the spiritual world with wonderful, enthusiastic, loving Vaishnavas. Srila Prabhupada ki, Harinam Sankirtan ki, Sri Rangakshetra Dham ki, Nitai Kau Premanande.
Today, I witnessed something I haven't seen since I met His Holiness Radhanath Swami. And that is, he was defeated today by the glorification by these great devotees. He was not able to counteract them with his humility. I've seen him overcome the glorification of so many of his God brothers and seniors. But today, it was just an ocean. It was a tsunami of appreciation, and Maharaj was, first time I've ever seen him really speechless, so it was really a wonderful experience. And I'm so grateful that somehow or another I was able to be here and see the wonderful loving exchanges between the Vaishnavas. That is the pastimes of the spiritual world. So what we witnessed today is, and participated in, is a great fortune. And Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
John, thank you. You know, I can't sit down when I speak. And the reason is that all of you, by seeing what is happening here today, are experiencing Lord Chaitanya's mercy directly. This is a milestone. A milestone meaning a certain point that has been reached on the path to the final destination. This is more than wonderful. We are part of Lord Chaitanya's tree. This Prabhu, who is so wonderful, he is so wonderful. He is a descendant of Gopal Bhatta, is direct descendant of the 6 Goswamis who we hold so dear. This is meaning that one of the gopis was his forefather. As of yet, we don't really know who this man is. He doesn't know who he is because Lord Chaitanya isn't finished taking care of him and developing him and giving him all of the understanding that's necessary in order to carry this mission forward into the next century, and into this century, and to the thousands of centuries yet to come. And all of you dancing and chanting, Prabhupada would be ecstatic. You should be humbly proud to be part of what this Sankirtan Yatra and what Radhanath Swami has now presented to us today, an opportunity to serve Lord Chaitanya directly. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, and all glories to all of you, and all glories to all of our great devotees who have brought us together under this auspicious circumstances. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
devotees do for Ranganath here called Kaitala Seva. That means they hold the Lord in their hands, in their palms, and they do kind of a lullaby for the Lord. So similarly, today the two pujaris have lifted Maharaj in their hands. There is some ceremony. The Srila Prabhupada Nasik is descending on all the devotees.
Hare Krishna. Radhanath Swami Maharaj ki.
Thank you. Please remember us. Please pray for us and praying for your present journey. I don't want to leave you all, but the time had come. Please visit often. I cannot express my feelings. I find no words to express my gratitude. It is a great experience, immemorable, very, very, very great experience. Whenever we cross all over the temple, we all will remember you. Likewise, I pray that you all should remember me and Sri Parasavata. Thank you very much. Without my inner wish, I am saying goodbye to all of you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I expected very soon a great moment like this. I heard that you have performed Radhanatha at Coimbatore, some ISKCON Belgaum. Likewise, I pray at least during the 5th centenary year, we will perform the Radhanatha at Srirangam. Let us plan for it right from now. Thank you. Thank you.
My deepest gratitude to all of you. Your enthusiasm, your devotion has deeply affected my heart. And I can only pray to be dust particle under the lotus feet of each of you. And if you will accept me as such, then I believe my Guru Maharaj will accept me as his servant. Thank you very much.